bottle, a broken heart, and you're still on my mind. Cubas vacías, un alma rompida, y no te puedo olvidar.
Hi, welcome back to Guitar Discoveries. I'm Robert Cassard. This channel is really all about getting maximum joy from music, listening, singing, playing guitar, and or recording. It's all about the power of music to change your life. Now that song you just heard a piece of was recorded during a dark time for me. 20 years ago, 2004, I unexpectedly spent 25 days incarcerated at a series of 5 different jails while being extradited from California to Michigan. I mean, it was a BS charge, but I had no choice but to fight it. So here is the extradition order signed by then Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. So this whole ordeal took a brutal toll mentally and emotionally and financially on me, my wife, my kids. But there were some silver linings. I mean, those 25 days in jail could have been hell, and some parts of them were. But music played a key role in making lemonade out of my justice system lemons. So imagine recording a full album while in jail. I did. Stick around for the details and to hear one of the 13 songs I recorded in jail. All right, let's talk jail music. You know, some famous albums have been recorded in prisons. There's Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison and Johnny Cash at San Quentin. B.B. King live in the Cook County Jail. John Lee Hooker's live at Soledad Prison. The Sex Pistols live at Chelmsford Top Security Prison. Big Mama Thornton released Jail. The Cramps recorded live at Napa State Mental Hospital. And Freddie Fender did recorded inside the Louisiana State Prison. And there were others. But none of those artists were inmates when they recorded their jail LPs. They just came to perform for inmates. Now, there is a handful of rap artists who've actually recorded LPs while in prison, although it's hard to find details. I mean, there's the amazingly prolific Gucci Mane, released a triple LP, Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner, supposedly recorded in jail. Draco the Ruler recorded Thank You for Using GTL by rapping over the prison phone lines from the LA County Men's Central Jail. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? A lot of people don't know that back in the day, Sam Cooke recorded some of the vocals for the Chain Gang album while in Soledad Prison. So it can be done. And I certainly never expected to be one of the rare artists who recorded an album as an inmate, but here I am. So my extradition tour of jails started with a week at the Orange County Jail, which was just a rundown pit of a county jail. I was in a communal cell with 68 guys of every stripe being held for all kinds of crimes. I mean, that place could win awards for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So after about a week there, with no warning or explanation, I was transferred just a few blocks away to the Santa Ana Jail, which has a federal holding facility inside it. And compared to the county jail, it was nice, right? Semi-private cells. It had a big, well-lit community area, even had an exercise yard with a handball court. It was actually nice enough that federal inmates called it Club Fit. So on the website, they describe it as a medium security facility that can house up to 512 inmates. They call it a state-of-the-art correctional facility that is committed to providing inmates with the tools they need to turn their lives around. And I think they mean that. I mean, that positive intent is the key to how and why my jail album got recorded at the Santa Ana Jail. So here's how it went down. I was housed in one of 4 communal modules called mods that have about 100 inmates each. And each mod has a smaller locked multi-purpose room with windows where they hold classes. And through the glass, I could see a couple of kind of generic looking acoustic guitars. And, you know, given the boredom of jail time and lockdown hours, I just really wanted to get my hands on a guitar, even for a few minutes. So on Saturday, my 3rd day there, I meet a really friendly inmate named Steve. And he's showing me pictures of his kids, and he's telling me how his dad got him hooked on crack when he was 12. And I ask what he knows about those guitars, and he says, "Oh, you play guitar? There's a music class for long-term inmates. Let me introduce you to Blue." So Blue had already been in for 2 years on pot charges, I think, and had more time to serve. And he's kind of a tough-looking bear of a guy, kind of jaded. So because I have an inconsistent memory for details, I kept meticulous notes the whole time I was in jail. This is what I wrote about Blue. He has become very skeptical of inmates' claims of playing the guitar. Anyway, I tell him I'm being extradited and that I have no idea how long I'll be there, but man, I am itching to play. And he says, okay, you can audition for the class. So Blue has a key to the multi-purpose room. And we go in and he hands me a guitar and he just says, play, right? And the first thing that comes to my head is Fire and Rain. And there's no capo anywhere, so I just play it open. I get about that far and he says, you're tearing that shit up, man. Tonight we're jamming. And jam we did. Now, as fortune would have it, the music class was taught by a local church worship musician named Joe Fierro. He was a keyboard player. And Joe and the warden had decided the guys in the music class should record a CD to send to inmates' families for the holidays. Pretty progressive idea, right? And the tentative title was Cops and Cons. So after my first class with Joe in the room, he gets excited enough about my guitar and vocals to tell the warden, hey, Cassard can really help the CD project sound good. Now keep in mind, no one knows how long I'll be held there, right? So the warden does what none of us even dreamed of, and he says, you guys can play guitars and rehearse whenever you want, as much as you want, to get ready for the recording sessions. So it was like a music bonanza, right? And at that point, the sessions are scheduled a couple weeks out, but they decide to push up the dates because of me, right? So we're going to record basic tracks for 90 minutes at the regular class time on the upcoming Tuesday. And that only leaves Sunday and Monday for Blue and me to get ready. And then we're going to have a 3-hour session to record everything else, all the vocals, everything, on Sunday. So, ambitious and just trusting I'd be held in Santa Ana long enough for the Sunday session. So during that 8 days, I played more guitar than I had in years. And Blue and I practiced for hours every day. I learned the 7 songs they already planned for the class to record, and we worked up 6 more until we had 13 songs in all, right? I learned some of Blue's originals. I wrote a new original, and we practiced in the classroom during the morning and afternoon lockdowns. And after dinner each night, we rehearsed with the guys out in the yard, which had tall cement walls, so the reverb was just amazing. And I am telling you, music transformed the whole energy of the Santa Ana jail. So at least for that very unusual week of Thanksgiving 2004, a bunch of inmates had a collective purpose and shared the magic of music. All right, so the Tuesday session, Joe comes in with an engineer named Pat, who has some pretty simple recording gear, and we laid out a bunch of basic tracks in 90 minutes. The following Sunday, we record everything else for all 13 songs in about 3 hours. And unbelievably, those ancient guitar strings lasted through it all. And then, no joke, the very next day, Monday morning, I hear over the PA, Robert Cassard, roll it up. And they send me off to the next stop on my cross-country tour of jails, which was San Bernardino County. So, yeah, the situation and the timing really felt like fate. And I knew I'd helped change the whole energy of the jail with music. So here's what I wrote in my notes describing what a friend on the outside, Bruce Jaffe, had told my wife, Bara. It's really one of the kindest things anyone's ever said about me. Bruce was the one to marvel at how magical our and my life is and how I bless everyone and every situation, arriving here just in time for the CD project and staying just long enough to complete it. I thank my angels for that solace and for the music and the vibrations that keep me sane and break the monotony for me and others. So silver linings, right? So I want to play you the full version of one of those 13 songs recorded and released from those jail sessions. This is a duet I sang with another inmate, Pedro Vargas. Now, Pedro was a pretty young guy, probably late 20s, completely bilingual, Spanish, English, and he was an experienced mariachi singer. So I thought it would be cool to record a duet, and I racked my brain to think of a good song. I didn't know any mariachi tunes, right? But I flashed on a vintage country song. It dates from the late 50s. It was originally by a guy named Jeff Daniels, not the actor, but then covered by George Jones and by the Byrds on Sweetheart of the Rodeo. Casey Musgraves even did a version a few years after my jail stint. My brother Rick and I used to sing it. It's called You're Still on My Mind. So I knew the tune, but I wasn't sure of the words and I had no way to check them, right? No phone, no internet. So I just remembered and reconstructed them the best I could and then gave that version to Pedro to translate into Spanish. I was thinking maybe we'd trade verses, one English verse, one Spanish verse. But then Pedro comes back with his lyrics and I can't believe how good they sound. So we work out a way to blend the English and Spanish lyrics into one sort of Americano mariachi version. So here it is from the rare album Free Inside by the Indictments. You're Still on My Mind, recorded at the Santa Ana Jail, featuring Pedro Vargas.
The jukebox is playing La Roco la toca, a honky-tonk song, canciones de amor. One more I keep saying, una más les pido, and then I'll go home, y a casa me voy. What good will it do me? ¿Para qué me sirve? I know what I'll find. Sé que encontraré an empty bottle, a broken heart, and you're still on my mind. Cubas vacías, un alma rompida, y no te puedo olvidar. La gente bailando, the people are dancing, alegres están, and having their fun. Yo sé que es por cierto, I know it's for certain, que eres la ideal, that you are the one. Y para olvidarte, to try and forget you, me embriago en licor, I turn to the wine. An empty bottle, a broken heart, and you're still on my mind. Cubas vacías, un alma rompida, y no te puedo olvidar. Alone and forsaken, solo y olvidado, so blue I could cry, que puedo llorar. I just keep on drinking, y sigo tomando, till the bottle runs dry, hasta el terminar. What good will it do me? ¿Para qué me sirve? I know what I'll find. Sé que encontraré an empty bottle, a broken heart, and you're still on my mind. Cubas vacías, un alma rompida, y no te puedo olvidar.
I love that track, and I'm proud of it. I mean, believe it or not, I stayed in contact with Blue, but I totally lost touch with Pedro Vargas. So I hope he's doing well. I'd love to reconnect. So if by chance someone watching this knows a Pedro Vargas from Orange County, please share this video with him and have him contact me. I'm guessing he'd be in his mid to late 40s by now, maybe early 50s. All right, there you go. One track from the LP I recorded in jail. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And leave a comment, share your own story. Maybe tell me if you want to hear the original song I wrote and recorded in jail. It was a song written from the inmate's perspective called The Space I Left Behind. All right, hope to see you again soon. Till then, treasure your freedom. Play, sing, listen. Visit guitardiscoveries.com. Maybe watch this.